everyone, it's Lisa from budgetequestrian.com, and today I'm super excited to share with you this fancy bridle rack that I'm going to show you how to make. Now, I've made a bridle rack before in the past, but I found that the bridle rack itself wasn't exactly what I was looking for, so I wanted to make a more substantial bridle rack, and that's what this video is going to show you how to do. This bridle rack was really simple to make. I used remnants of wood that I had, so some landscaping timbers, some leftover 2x6s, and the only thing I had to purchase were the hooks. That will be my rein hooks. So to get started, what you're going to do is find your lumber that you're going to be using and cut it down to 4-inch long increments. For the bridle racks that I did for this video, I used leftover landscaping timbers that I had from making jump standards. And I don't like to throw anything away. I like to repurpose everything that I possibly can and make it look nice. So these landscaping timbers were perfect. And I marked them off in 4-inch long increments, and then I used my handy radial arm saw and cut them all 4 inches long. And then I couldn't decide if I wanted to use 2x4 lumber or 2x6 lumber, so I got both remnants of 2x4 and 2x6 lumber that I had. I just put the landscaping timbers on it to see how it would work out. And how it worked out the best was with the 2x6 lumber. And I really liked using the 2x6 lumber because it's more substantial, it's bigger, it's thicker, so that when I'm putting on the rein hooks, the screws that came with the hooks themselves won't actually go through the back of the lumber. And to me, that was important. That's why I chose to do it this way. Once I figured out how many bridle hooks I actually wanted to have on each section of the 2x6 lumber, I decided to sand everything really good because I'm going to stain the bridle rack, and I wanted to make sure it was perfect. And your bridles are really expensive, and you don't want to have a splinter or anything cause a snag or a tear in your leather. So sanding down the bridle hooks is really, really important. You want to make sure it's smooth, there's no rough edges, no splintering whatsoever. Once that was sanded, then I sanded down the 2x6s because same reason, I want to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. Once they were sanded down, then it was time to attach the bridle rack part to the backer board. So what I did was I got 3-inch long screws, and I started the screws where I wanted them to go on the 2x6 lumber, and then I just attached the landscaping timbers to it. And you can get really fancy and space them out, precisely, 6 inches apart, 12 inches apart, whatever you want. That's what's so fun about this. You can do this project any way you want. There's no right or wrong way to do it. This way just happened to work really well for me. So once I had the landscaping timbers attached to the 2x6 lumber, then I got my power drill, the plug-in drill, and I drilled holes into the 2x6 lumber. This is where I'm going to attach it to the wall, and I didn't want the wood to split. That's why I pre-drilled all of the holes. And then I went through and actually sanded everything down one more time just to make sure there was no imperfections. After I had that done, then it was the fun part. Then it was time to stain the wood. And if you want to stain the wood, you can do that. I used a poly stain, so it actually has polyurethane in along with the stain itself. You can use paint, you can leave it natural, whatever you want. Just like I said earlier, it's up to you, and whatever you want it to be, you can make it. That way it's personalized to your wants, needs, and desires, which is always fun to have stuff that you've created personalized for yourself. So I used a paintbrush with the poly stain. It made it a lot easier to go on. And as you can see in the video, I'm actually making 3 separate bridle racks because I want to make sure that I have enough for, future bridles or halters that I might get. And it just will look more, I just think it'll look better hanging up in my tack room. Once your stain is all dried, then it's time to attach the rein hooks. And the easiest way that I found to do this was to put the rein hook where it's going to sit, and then I pre-drilled holes, not all of the way, probably about, I'd say about 3/4 of an inch into the lumber. And then I used my drill and just started the screws. I didn't go all the way in with the screws because the Phillips screw head that I had on my drill wasn't the greatest, so it would actually strip out the screw. So I did it to where I met resistance, and when the Phillips head screwdriver that was in my drill started to move, then I stopped and I got a Phillips screwdriver, and then I just, hand tightened it all the way down. So this is me putting all of the rein hooks onto one of the bridle racks. And for however many bridle hooks you're going to have, or bridle, where you're going to hang the bridle, that's how many rein hooks you're going to need. You don't necessarily have to do this step of having the rein hooks. With the landscaping timbers being 4 inches long, there was plenty of room that you could actually loop the reins over it as well. But I wanted to have the rein hooks, so I bought the little hooks that I could use for rein hooks. And to me, it just made it look more finished, and I think it's going to be beautiful when it's hanging up. And I promise I will make a video in the future. It'll probably be the springtime of when I get all of these bridle racks and saddle racks that I've made hung up. Once you're done, this is what your bridle rack will look like. It is beautiful in my opinion. I'm so excited how this turned out. I cannot wait to get this up in my tack room and have basically a whole wall full of bridles. So that is my tutorial on how to build a bridle rack from scrap lumber. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys again real soon.